The Honda Passport is a completely redesigned midsize crossover here for 2026 model year. But what sort of fuel economy can you expect cruising on the highway when you've got all-terrain tires and a little bit more off-road capability? Well, today we find out. Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor. Tonight we've got the real-world highway fuel economy test on the 2026 Honda Passport Trailsport. In this test, I'm going to head out on the highway and do 50 miles out and 50 miles back, averaging 70 miles per hour, to get a realistic fuel economy test for this rugged-looking and slightly rugged-acting midsize crossover. But before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at it. Yes, looking much cooler here for 2025 or 2026 model year technically. Some exposed tow hooks, some orange lights, and a whole lot of Passport and Trailsport badging the Honda Passport. They're also offering it in a few different trims, which is nice, but I think a lot of people are going to want to go with this Trailsport in general because it does look so cool. If you do want to see more on the car in general, check the link below because we are going to be pushing it just a little bit off-road to see what it's actually capable of and spending the week with it, giving you my pros and cons. We've also got a dedicated review of the 12-speaker Bose sound system and a little infotainment breakdown, so you can see that all linked below. So why do we do this test? Well, the EPA's fuel economy test, which gives this Passport Trailsport 23 miles per gallon, that highway test only averages 48 miles per hour. We know there are plenty of people who do big miles at steady state highway speeds and would like to know what sort of numbers you can realistically expect here in the real world. So in order to test that out, I'm going to head out on the highway here at night, so there's less traffic. I'm going to fill up the car, go out and do 100 miles, come back, fill up at the same pump using the same 3-click fueling method, and get a result. Now, a few things to note for the test. Outside temperature is going to be about low, probably upper 60s or so along the coast, maybe low 70s when we start the test. Our tire pressures are going to be set to their door placard 35 psi cold, and we're going to run the climate control at 73 degrees auto. Now, I'm excited to see how this one pans out because we're not dealing with any sort of fancy hybrid technology, no CVT or anything like that, just a pretty straightforward, naturally aspirated V6 and automatic transmission. So let's get out to the highway and see how this does. We are all fueled up, put in about 1.6 gallons into the tank. Before we start the engine, we're going to reset the vehicle's trip computer and our GPS. Got our climate control set at 73 auto, and we are ready to begin. Now we do have a few different drive modes here in the Passport. We have, oh my gosh, quite a few. Sport, normal, econ, snow, trail, sand, and tow. We're going to do this test in econ. We're going to take it nice and easy over to the highway. It's about half a mile away, and pick up the test from there. Now the goal of this test isn't to hypermile. We're not trying to get the best possible fuel economy on this test, but rather a realistic figure. So in order to do that, I'm getting up to highway speed here at a reasonable pace, and we're going to set our cruise control at a GPS indicated 71 miles per hour. That should allow us to average 70 over the whole test. I was just telling somebody in the comments earlier today who commented on our Prius fuel economy test that their argument was, well, using cruise control is a lot less fuel efficient than just not using cruise control. And I said, yeah, well, you know what's a lot more fuel efficient than that even? Walking. But I want to use cruise control if I'm driving on the highway and I want to drive 70 miles per hour. I want to get to where I'm going. So I'm not going to do the test without cruise control. I want to see what sort of fuel economy we actually get in the real world. So it looks like setting the car's speedo to 72 is giving us 71 on our GPS. Oh, yep, 71 there. We do have Honda's fairly competent active lane keeping and centering functionality here. It's not a hands-free system, but it does keep you in the lane nicely. Initial highway impressions. Road noise seems about average. Maybe it might be a little bit quieter once we get this cover closed. Do that here now. But other than that, this should be a pretty straightforward drive. Let's see. No, average amount of road noise in here. So I'm going to continue on with the tests, test out this Bose sound system, and catch up with you at the end. And in the meantime, enjoy this time lapse of the entire trip.
Took the new ride out for a spin, counting miles where the green hills begin. Test the gas, see how far we go, making the journey, want the numbers to show. Let's roll. Oh, let's roll. Dashboard's glowing mile by mile. Calculator waiting, driving in style. Got my notebook open, pen in hand. Checking every corner of the land. Tires humming on the avenue. Chasing down that highway.
Coming into the end of the highway fuel economy test here in the Honda Passport Trailsport. It's a fine place to be on the highway. We did hit some paved sections that weren't they were asphalt, not concrete like this, and it was a lot quieter in here. So definitely seems to be an aspect of the tires. So maybe if you got the non-trail sport with some more pedestrian, all season sort of highway tires, it'd be pretty darn quiet in here. Overall, I'm not in love with the way that the active lane keeping works and the adaptive cruise control. It's all fine. Hondas are really great cars to drive. They're not necessarily great cars to be driven by necessarily, or to deal with, I suppose. The adaptive cruise control, I had a few situations where I had my blinker on, I was getting over, I was about 3/4 into my other lane, and then it started slowing down dramatically for the semi-truck that I was coming up on, and that's just kind of annoying. It couldn't be a little bit smarter to sort of see where I was going and keep me going there. Some cars do that. The active lane keeping, they had a few situations where it tried to go off a highway off-ramp. Not the end of the world, but annoying nonetheless. I do appreciate, however, that the outside mirrors are dimmed. That is something really nice at this price point. Bose sound system, fine enough. We got our full test on that below. As a fuel economy, however, we're doing quite a bit better than I expected. 25 MPG rounding up according to the vehicle's trip readout. Quite a bit better. I shouldn't say quite a bit, but statistically significantly better than the EPA's number. Something is going on, though, with the seating comfort that I do not care for, and I suppose this is the Daily Motor seat of the pants evaluation here, but there's something going on. The back of the seat bottom angles down at about 45 degrees for about 2 inches, I'd say, or so. So when you're like me, who likes to sit with their butt all the way to the back of the seat, fairly upright, I get slid downward in, and it creates a recline in my lower back that I keep fighting, and I keep ending up dropping the bottom of the seat cushion, the back of the seat cushion down, and lifting the front up to try to get a different bit to get myself pushed backward. I don't know what's going on with that. Also, the seat, well, I suppose the seat cushion is deep enough. Tack shot, looking at about, what is that, 1750, maybe just a hair under 1800 RPM at 71 miles per hour. I'd say that is quite good. Yeah, not really too much else to report. So I'm going to get it back to the pump, fill it all the way up, and then catch up with you in the daylight to crunch our final numbers. All fueled up, we ended up putting in a total of 4.146 gallons into the fuel tank after running the test. So after a total of 100.3 miles traveled divided by 4.146, we're getting, okay, a little bit lower than the vehicle's readout, but still a plenty okay result of 24 miles per gallon. Slightly better than EPA, and for kind of a rugged and decently capable and all-terrain tire equipped midsize crossover like this, I'm okay with that. Honda's given us an 18.5 gallon fuel tank in here, so 18.5 gallons times that 24 miles per gallon is giving you a moderate 440 miles of highway cruising range here in the Honda Passport. Now for me, it's actually that cruising range that's a little bit disappointing, because you load this thing up with family and gear and heaven forbid some sort of trailer or rooftop cargo box, you're really not going to be able to go super far between refueling, cruising out on the highway, and even less if you're doing city driving, that sort of thing. So I'd like to see a little bit larger fuel tank in here. But again, for a vehicle with this size and capability, 24 MPG, not terrible, especially considering we've got a very straightforward, tried and true 3.5 liter NAV6. But what do you guys think? Do you think it should be a little bit better? Would you go with something hybridized in order to optimize your city fuel economy? Let me know below, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.